Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mitra Sukimantu. I'm Aliana and welcome to TRV Friday Sutta discussion by Bhante Dr. Dhajagga Chandima. This is the day 104 of the Sutta discussion class. Tonight is the second class of Dhajagga Sutta with topic, why praying to four main deities doesn't help devas fight Asuras. Dhajagga Sutta is the 10th sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. In previous classes, Bhante has discussed about Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Metta Sutta, Sigalovada Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Sabhasawa Sutta, Patakama Sutta, Patamasamajjivi Sutta, and Nalavaka Sutta, which Bhante has elaborated those sutta in depth. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Aman Perdana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 103 classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers, therefore whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang's Facebook Messenger, or can contact the Vihara directly through WhatsApp. Now, please allow me to introduce our speaker. Bhante Dr. Dhajagga Chandima is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Maha Chulalongkorn Raja Vidyalaya University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, at University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, from year 2012 to 2016. Bhante is currently the Senior Advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dhamma talk, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma work can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com, with access at www.patisota.blogspot.com, and we can also follow Bhante at Patisota Facebook account. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante, and as always, thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Brother, can you pass the host for me, please? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'm still being prevented in sharing the screen. I think Brother Lim can make me the host. Yeah, till Brother Lim assigns me as a co-host. I'm going to start. Thank you, Aliana, for the gracious introduction. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to the TRV Friday Sutta discussion, day 104. We've been discussing about Dhajagga Sutta. I think we are still at the beginning of the Dhajagga Sutta, almost like switching on to the, I would say, the context of the Sutta. Before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay. Right. Friends, today we have Aliana, Lim, Jessica, Margaret Tan, Yu on Lee, Kim, Sophia, Sadhris, Leo, Suman, Wu, Kelvin, TC Lim, Sumita, Corina Lim, Cindy, June. I don't know who goes by AM. Yo will check and Hemahi. Anyways, welcome everyone. I hope there are no newcomers at this point. Most of you are Nainchen. Most of you are actually attending this Sutta discussion for some time. I think the latest was, I think it was Jessica, and then I think the rest of most of you, you've been attending for many weeks. We've been actually conducting this Sutta discussion for almost more than 2 years. Started even before I probably think your SOP was lifted, you know. Then it was in March 2022. And today, as I mentioned again, Dhajagga Sutta. Dhajagga Sutta is primarily about a story where Deva and Asura used to fight each other. And then there was a point that these Devas approach the Buddha. And then they told the Buddha that we are in trouble. We are very scared. And then we, we almost terrified and then horripilated. And then the Buddha asked, how did you manage your fear, terror, horripilation, and all these issues, mental, these stressful issues during the battle? And then they said that they were asked to watch certain devas banner, the top of certain devas banner, so that their fear and other problems will go away. I think today we are going to discuss that area, that point. So let's see the text at this point. Okay, right. As you can see, the devas that other devas were asked to think about in times of fear, terror, and horripilation were Pajapati is the first one. If Pajapati cannot help you, then you should think. The Sakka asked them to think about Varuna, and if Varuna cannot help them, then they can think about Isana. If Isana Deva cannot help them, then they have to think about the forlorn help, Sakka, right? So this is how the Sakka asks these Devas to think about in terms of fear in the world. Okay, so we will be asking probably some of you to read this text. Who would like to read? Starting from number 6. You can raise your virtual hand. Okay, Shirley, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
No che me Dhajagga ulo che yatha atha Pajapatisa deva rajasa Dhajagga ulo che yatha Pajapatisa jivo deva rajasa Dhajagga ulo kayatang yang ravisati ayang va chalithatang va romang hamsong va so pahi. Exactly.
Okay, great. Let's go to the previous one. Now the Sakka asked all the Devas to look at his flag in the first place. See, if you go to the previous paragraph, you can see Bhutapubbam Bhikkave Devasura Sangamo Samupapulluvam Atako Bhikkave Sakko Devanamindo Deve Tavati say Amatris. Sache Marisa Devanan Sangamakatana Upajaya Bhayanwa Champitanwa Lomahansova Mameva Tasmin Same Dhajagga. So then in the first place, you have to look up look up at the top of Sakka's stand, right? Sakka's flag. Let's say now, even after by looking up at the top of Sakka's flag, still fear and terror or manipulation still continue to arise. Then you have to look at the top of this another flag of another deva. What was his name? Pajapati. This is what Shirley just now read. Let's go again. No che me dhajaggang ullokeyata ata pajapatis devarajas dhajaggang ullokeyata. Pajapatis hivo devarajas dhajaggang ullokeyata. Yang bhavisati bhayang va chambitatang va lomahanso va so pahisati. Now, first we have to look at this Pali term. No che. No che. Che means, what does che mean? Our Pali students in the Pali class know this.
If.
If by looking at Ullokiya to the Dhajagga, the top of the standard of my top of the standard, Sakka's own standard. Then you have to look up at the top of another Devas, Devarajas. Devaraja means one of the kings of Devas. So Pajapati also one of the kings among certain Devas. So you have to look up at the top of Pajapati's, what do you call, the top of the Pajapati flag. At that point, Pajapati Sahivo Devara Jasana Jatkam, when you are looking up at the edge of top of Pajapati Deva's flag, then what will happen? Yang Bhavisati, if there comes any bhayang, fear, Chambitattang, terror, Loma Hansu, Loma means skin hair, any horripilation happen. Those fears, those terrors, those types of butterflies, what do you call, goosebumps, so pahisati should go away. So Sakka gave them a very interesting plan. Not even he organized the Devas to fight against Asura. He also said to them, in case you come up with any fear, terror, or any horripilation, you have to do this thing. So he was psychologically helping the Devas even before the departure of the war. So the first reference was Sakka, think about me. If not, you have to think about Pajapati. Who is Pajapati? Anybody heard about this particular Deva? I think you are respecting many Devas, right? Many Devas.
King of the day. One of the king of the day.
Yeah, that is really understood because it is said they were Raja. So they were Raja. Raja means king, right? So one of the kings of Devas. Now, on the other hand, there is something interesting happening over here. What is it? The Buddha had accepted the presence of the Devas, Hindu Devas, isn't it? Now, according to what the Buddha is talking, to the monks at this point, Buddha had accepted the presence of the Devas. That means Sakka exists. Here, Pajapati exists. In the next paragraph, Varuna exists. And the last paragraph, Isana exists. So all these are what you call kings of Devas within their own territory. In our finding, we find that Pajapati, then what do you call Varuna, they are kind of leaders of Yakkas. They are Yakka type Devas. Who are the Yakka type Devas? There are different types of Devas. I think we already discussed about Yakkas a few weeks ago. Can you think about what Devas are falling onto the Yakkas? Any thoughts? We discussed No memory about the Yaksas. Huh? It's kind of a revision about Alavaka Sutta. Remember? When we were studying about Alavaka Sutta, we were discussing about Yaksas. Didn't we? We did that. Then how did we understand the Yaksas? We said that Yaksas are part of the Devas. Then I'm telling you now, this Deva called Pajapati is a king of certain Yaksas. Not the main Yakka. Main Yakka is Vessavana or Kuvera. And also Varuna Deva. So Pajapati is a type of Yakka Deva. Yakkas are normally regarded as Devas. They are supposed to be living in the first heaven. Chatu Maharajika. Okay. So they are Devas. So Pajapati, the name Pajapati, the literal name Pajapati means what you call the head of the humans. Sometimes this Deva is positioned near the Brahma. The Brahma. In Hinduism, they have three types of main Deva. Brahman, Ishvara and Vishnu. Say Brahma creates the whole existence, universe, and then Vishnu, keeps the whole world, universe, and Ishvara is going to destroy it. Right? This is what they say, the three-tier Devas. We don't find the god Vishnu in many of these suttas, but we find Pajapati. Pajapati is said to be a god who created Paja. Paja means humans, next to the the Brahma actually. Those are stories, we cannot prove them, but we understand them from the certain text. But anyways, Sakka now is asking to think about the god Pajapati. But the problem is sometimes even by reflecting on the Pajapati's, now here you understand that Sakka is asking to look up at the top of his flag, Pajapati's flag. Once you see the flag of the Pajapati, top of the flag, the fear, terror, horripilation should go down. But even after looking up at the top of the flag of Pajapati Deva, there still comes certain fear, terror, horripilation. At that point, then Sakka is asking another methodology to go forward. Maybe we can ask someone to read this point. Yeah, number 7. Who would like to read this part? Yes, Ken, please go ahead.
Na cha Pajapatisa Dewa Rajasa Dhajagang Olokayata Ata Varunasa Dewa Rajasa Dhajagang Olokayata Varunasa Hivo Deva Rajasa Dhajagang Olokayatang Yang Bawisati Bayang Va Chambitatang Va Loma Hamsova So Pahi Sati. Thank you.
This means it is the same phrase. As you can see, if Pajapati cannot, the king of Devas called Pajapati cannot help you overcome your fears, terror, and then horripilation, then you have to think about, you have to look up at the top of another Deva, whose name goes by Varuna. Who is Varuna? Varuna is a very serious Deva in the Hindu Deva pantheon actually. It is said that Varuna punishes those who do bad karma and who do not apologize. Isn't it? Very interesting. He punishes all these people. And at the same time, he punishes people, those who uh, do bad karmas, and then taking time to apologize. Good reminders, actually. So he's a different kind of deva, Varuna. The meaning of Varuna means someone who covers. Who covers means someone who covers the sort of different things in people's life. In some other texts, it is mentioned that you cannot tell a secret to someone. Now, as you know, in Asian cultures, walls have ears. Don't tell a secret. Walls can hear. But interestingly enough, it is said that you cannot tell a secret. Why? Varuna's Trutiya, Varuna being the third, will hear that whole conversation. Without the support, without Varuna's negligence, you cannot make a lie. You cannot make a secret. Very interesting. Is it possible that devas can listen to our secrets? When you go to a room and you lock the door and nobody is here, and then you tell a secret to someone, you think that nobody can hear us? What would you think? It is said that Varuna is listening to you because he wants to listen to all the conversation. You might think, what kind of a gossiper is this? Why he wants to listen to our conversation? But he does it. So be careful. Because one nice story about this is, there is a Jataka story. I think this is an extra story to understand about Varuna's involvement in listening to our secret stories, secrets. It is said that in that story, the teacher is asking students, you should all go back to your houses. This is called Takkasila. Takkasila is the greatest school at that time in India. Only very much affluent and elite families can send their children to this Takkasila. This could be located in the, what you call, Gandhara. Gandhara means a modern Afghanistan. Okay. So what happened? The teacher is asking all the students, you should go back to your houses and then steal something without getting found out by your parents. Steal without the notice of your parents and bring that particular item to my school. The first one to bring any item from the houses without the notice of parents, I'm going to give my daughter to that student, the student board. So these students were really, they were really crazy about, they ran to their house. But there was one boy, Bodhisattva. He was very quiet. Then the teacher asked, didn't you hear what I said to all of you? You are included, Then he said, yes, I heard what you said. But there is a problem. Now the Bodhisattva, our Shakyamuni Buddha in that lens. What is the problem? Yes, I can go back to my house. I can steal something. But there is somebody who is watching when I am doing the stealing. Then the teacher asks, who is that? Three spirits, Rukkha Devas, they are watching what we are doing, even inside the room. Very interesting. Right? That means now we can do bad karma, we can do good karma. We think that nobody can watch us. But these three spirits, we call them Rukkha Deva. Let me type in. Rukkha Deva. How do we call? Rukkha Deva means three Devas, not THR, yeah? Three Devas. Okay? So they are watching what we are doing. But they are not doing anything wrong to us. But they know who to be supported in case of an emergency, spiritual emergency. Now, what does it mean? Then Varuna is that kind of a deva. this Varuna Deva, if he can be a part of the conversation as being the third person, two people are going to a room and maybe another place, they are, discussing very, what you call, secret things, but Varuna is still listening. This is what he says, Sanskrit. Varunas Trutiya. So Varuna is that power. So it is said that he is the person who punishes people who makes bad karma according to Hinduism. So he is really following the people who are doing bad karmas and never apologize. So he is really making a big deal out of the apology and forgiving. Okay, now the Sakka is asking, in case after looking up at the top of my flag, your fear and whatever those negative emotions don't go down, then you have to look up at the top of another deva called Pajapati. In case by looking up at the top of Pajapati's flag, help your negative emotions to go down, then you have to look up at the top of the Varuna's flag. Right? Now, what I understand is that as the list goes up, then the power of the Deva should be going up as well. So now the first the Sakka, then the Pajapati, now then Varuna. So from today onwards, when you are trying to tell a secret to someone, please make sure that Varuna is within the neighborhood. Not in the neighborhood. Varuna is inside the room. Right? That is what it says. Varuna Strutiya. And then we are going to the next Deva. This could be the last Deva. Right? Number 8. Who would like to read this? But I think Cindy Eo raised her hand. Would you like to read? If not, we would ask someone else to read.
Thank you, Bhante.
Are you going to read?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, please go ahead.
Noche Varunasa Deva Rajasa Dajangang Ulo Keyata Ata Isanasa Deva Rajasa Dajagang Ulo Keyata Isanasa Hi Vo Deva Rajasa Dagagang Ulo Kayang Tang Yam Bavisati Bayam Va Chambita Tang Va Loma Hamsova So Pahiya Epahi Sati.
Great. Yes. Okay. Yes. Seems you are enjoying the chant. Great. Okay. Noche Varunas Devarajas Dhajagga Ullokiyata. The same phrase keeps occurring now. But the most important thing is that no che. Che means if by looking up at the top of the Varuna's top of the flag, no, that's not going to work. Then you have to look up at the top of Isana Deva. Isana is another Deva. Isanasya hivo devarajasya Dhajagga Ulloketan Yang Bhavisati Bhayangva Chambitantangva Domahansova Sopahisati. That means if Varuna's help is not going to work, then you have to look for the Isana Deva's help. What would you think at this point? Now, the Buddha is asking us to think about certain Devas. That means when someone is going to look, probably this might have worked out some Devas. But overall, this strategy may have not benefited many Devas. Otherwise, Sakka is not telling lies to anybody. Do you believe that Sakka can lie to other Deva? Not presumably. The Sakka is a Deva. Devas don't like liars. Something very interesting about humans and Devas. Overall, non-humans cannot lie. Even Peta, Hungry Ghost, Deva, they cannot lie. Because there's nothing they can get out of a lie. Only the humans can lie, mostly. Can animals lie? Can they? Now, there are some sophisticated, domesticated animals who can do certain things. But normally, animals don't lie. Like babies. Babies cannot lie. They don't know what to say. They're just being very, what do you call? Organic. Very, what do you call? Very natural. They are not trying to think about what to say, how I'm going to get a benefit out of the situation. So then we have to understand Sakka must not have told a lie to these devas. This must have worked out for some devas. But still, fear, terror, manipulation, continuously exist in the devas' mind. So devas were not completely happy about this thing, right? So then that is why devas were very concerned about this issue. Now they are asked to think about Isan, another very famous Devaraja. Then all these negative emotions should go down. Now, here comes the very interesting phrase which culminates the issue here. We are going to stop at this place for today. Yes, this is the last one we are going to do, and then we're going to go to the explanations. Okay, maybe we could ask someone to read this part. Probably someone can read up until here, another person can read the next one. Yeah. Anyone?
Bhante, Corina,
Yes, Corina. Let's go ahead.
until the highlighted one, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tham ko thana bhikkhave sakasa wa devanam idasa dagam ulokayatam pajapastisa wa devarajasa dajagam ulakayatam warunasa warunasa wa devarajasa dajagam ulokayatam. Sorry.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, so we can ask someone else to read the rest of the paragraph over here. Yes, Cecilia, please go ahead.
Isanasa va dewa rajasa dajagang ulokayatang yang bavisati bayang va chabitatang va lomahanso va so pahiyatapi nopi pahiyeta tang hisa hetu sako hi bhikkhave dewanamido avitarago avita doso avita moho biru chambi utrasi palayiti.
Great. Okay. Tangko ana bhikkhave sakkasava devana mindasa dajaggang ulloke pajapatisava devarajasa dajaggang ulloke varunasava devarajasa dajaggang ulloke Isanasava devarajasa dajaggang ulloke yang bhavisati bhayangva chambitatangva lomahansu va so pahiye thapi nopi pahiye tankisa hetu sakko hi bhikkhave devana mindu avita rago avita doso avita moho bhiru chambi utrasi palai. Now there's a problem here. The Buddha is saying why this methodology must have not worked out for many devas in the battle with the Asuras. This is the reason. Tankisa hetu. Every time when you see this Pali phrase, tankisa hetu. Why? What is the reason? You can see over here. It is because tankisa hetu sakko hi bhikkhave devana. The head of the god Sakka has not totally overcome his own raga, his own dosa, has not totally overcome his dosa, has not totally overcome his moha. He is such a very bhiru, he's getting frightened. Chambi is a coward at certain points of the fight. Utrasi palai, you can see over here, is quick to run away, right? The main reason is Sakka has not completely overcome Raga, Dosa, Moha. That is pretty interesting. That means whenever we have a certain fear, terror, whatever negative emotions, if we are going to think about someone who has the same issues, so how does that person help us? How is that person going to help us? That means that person also has Raga, Dosa, Moha. Now here in this case, Sakka has Raga, Dosa, Moha. Now the Buddha's suggestion is that whenever you have fear, whenever you have terror, whenever you have a horripilation, skin erection, at that point you must think about someone who already overcome those Raga, Dosa, Moha. Because fear, terror, all these are coming because of not overcoming Raga, Dosa, Moha. So if you have already worked out on your own Raga, own Dosa and own Moha, then you will never be feared at anybody. Now there are people who are even not comfortable sleeping without a light on in the room. You can have your own argument. I feel that I cannot sleep without a light in my room. They are sometimes very scared to walk outside. They are even scared to walk near a cemetery. So their own memories, sanyas, have taken them more because they have at least not worked out in the process of overcoming Raga, Dosa, Moha. We might not be as good as Arahants, but at least if we can lower our Raga, Dosa, Moha even to a certain extent, that can help us not to be feared, not to be frightened, not to be then horripilated. So who is the majority? If we look at people who are getting scared and all that, do we find people who are not easily scared, or do we find people who are getting scared easily? What is the proportion? Who is more? Normally, many are scared. Why is it? On the other hand, they have lots of raga, lots of dosa, lots of more. It's like dukkha concept. They talk about life is dukkha. Life is not dukkha. Whenever you have craving, that is dukkha. The Buddha never said life is dukkha. Every time you come up with a craving, then dukkha is going to start. Normally, perfectionist is going to be vulnerable to dukkha a lot. If you are a perfectionist, you can't put this bottle here, you can't put it here, right? Just put it there. If you put it there, then I'm not happy about this. You are not a person who can keep my house clean and tidy. So perfectionists are far more vulnerable to dukkhas because, yes, we do understand. I think your houses have your own rules. You should have to make it clean and tidy. But the problem is if you are too much bogged down with certain perfectionist thoughts, too much, then the moment that you are pressing other people, then you are creating your own dukkha and they are going through their own dukkha. Those people who are being asked to do so. Very, very simple example. So life is not dukkha. The moment that you create a craving, that is the dukkha. Right? So it is a matter of understanding about how to manage everything. So here what we understand is that if we can, reduce the amount of raga, dosa, moha, you will never be feared. You will never be feared to anything. You know, if you go to psychology, they say, you have a phobia, you know. What is my phobia? You have a fear. Fear is a normal emotion to everybody. It's not a psychological problem. But if you say that, okay, so I'm very scared of looking at blood. All right. This means you have a phobia. But we call it, maybe in the samsara, you may have killed by somebody and you saw the blood just before you pass away. And this bad memory is coming from the samsara. Right? Maybe I'm very scared of certain heights. Maybe you may have been, fallen to the ground from a high place. There may be certain things, but it is not a phobia. That's normal emotions. So we have to promote people that not a lot of people have mental problems. They are not given the right Buddhist teaching. If they know the right Buddhist teaching, they understand this is a normal situation. I had to work out in reducing my raga dosa. But there are certain issues like neurochemical issues and those ones. They really need treatments. But these fears, for the most part, they are very irrational. I think we have to discuss about the Pali words here before we go to discuss about other things. Okay, Avita Ragu. Avita Ragu. Let's talk about this Pali word. Raga means, what does raga mean? Raga.
Lust, Bhante.
Lust is one meaning. L-U-S-T, lust.
Attachment.
Attached. Okay. When we say attachment, we look at from the philosophical side of English word. Attachment is a philosophical word. Yes. So mainly lust. Other translations, other ways of looking at. Now I have a question for you. Be very careful about this question. Can we learn all the Dhamma based on the text? Or there is a certain whole area after learning Dhamma from the text to conceptualize in our own way? Dhamma is not only from the text, because language is an illusion. This is what the Buddha says in the Pottapada Sutta, Digha Nikaya. If you can look up this sutta, but let me see. Pottapada Sutta, Digha Nikaya. I can't remember the number. You can look it up. In this sutta, Buddha says this way: Yahi tathagato voharati aparamasati. Tathagata, being Tathagata, I use the language, but I do not cling to the language. I do not attach to the language. Why? Language is not always real. If language is always bringing the truth, then a lawyer cannot get to a point that he can win a court case for a bad person. That is the power of the language. If the lawyer is such a very well-versed, articulated lawyer, he can win the court case, no matter who he is going to represent. In that case, that means language can both work in both ways. It depends on the person who's articulating the language. That's why the Buddha said he is using Pali Magadha language, but you can't depend on the language 100%. At times, you have to go to your own experience and to understand how it really works. That's why some Pali words cannot be translated in English to justify what it really means. Now, raga is one of the words. Now, we take raga as lust. What does lust mean actually? Lust. Lust means
Greedy, Bhante, can mean.
another Pali word. Now we are going to see some synonyms too. There is another set we are using for this. We call it Loba Dosa Moha or Raga. Now here we understand Raga Dosa Moha. Now when you say Loba, we understand Loba. Now Loba means any what you call any covetousness, any greed that we have in terms of what we own in our life. That is called Loba. In the Dhamma teachings, Loba has been classified into two ways. One is Abhijja, second is Visamaloba. This Pali word Loba has been given in two ways. There are two types of Loba. One is Abhijja. I think I already mentioned to you a long time ago. Abhijja. And the second is Visamaloba. They are called as upakilesas actually. Abhijja means loba that you have for what you have in your life, your money, your people, education, everything. Visamaloba means there are some other people who even have greed for what other people have. Right? Really funny, right? They are trying to what do you call have loba for other people. Now, I see young people do that. Very teenagers, sometimes they are trying to have arguments about actors, actresses, those small times. Like they try to like perceive those actors, actresses, what do you call those public figures as mine. This is my actor. This is your actress. That we understand that nobody would like to give that ownership to somebody else in the school. Like, this is my favorite actor. This is my favorite actress. But this understanding will be changed over time. We don't own any actor at this point, right? So Visamaloba means any greed with regard to what other people own. Actually, we don't own them. I normally say this in another very simple example. Sometimes we hear another person is telling us, you know what? This person bad mouth about you in a party. Really? I don't know about him or her. Yeah, but he bad mouth about you. You are not happy about it. How come? I don't know him. I don't know her. Why they are bad mouthing about it? Then you come to understand that they are jealous about your life, your people, what you own. So they have visible lobe at that point. Right? So when we understand lobe, we have to understand lobe in two contexts, abhijja, visible lobe. But lobe is synonymous with raga, but raga carries another level of lobe. Raga particularly means lust. What does lust mean? What is English lust? L-U-S-T. Lust means?
Is it sensual pleasure?
Passion.
Passion. These are all English words. Sensual pleasure. Urge. Urge.
How about, Bhante, how about do something without love? You're just doing it for the sake of doing, but not love.
Okay, that is a further layer of that particular mindset. Yeah, but initially, what is lust?
Desire?
Desire. Yeah, desire. Yeah, it's also a philosophical word. It can be taken for chanda also. Chanda, C-H-A-N-D-A. Chanda is a good one. Like I have a desire to attain Nibbana, desire to become a Sotapan. So chanda. It shouldn't be a problem. But English desire has many other meanings. Right? Normally you can see there are a lot of people in the Dhamma teaching who say, Ragena daihami. You see some of the Pali teaching, Ragena daihami. I am burning from my raga. Now, that is clear. You can burn from the raga. How to burn from the raga? This is particularly about high sexual drive is one on one side. And then too much sexual urge on one side. Ragena daiham. You can't manage your own sexual desire. You have been unable to do it for whatever the circumstances. Now, then we can think about what Sadhu said. Yes, that is a further offshoot of that problem. So,
Is it an addiction?
yeah, it has come to
Addiction.
no. Yeah, it can be an addiction, but basically they cannot manage their that particular state of mind. Otherwise, how come some people are saying in the text, Ragena Daiham? If it is a desire, people are not burning from their desires. People are burning from their own sexual desire. Right? This is one interesting way because we see a lot of texts where some monks are saying, Ahang Ragena Daiham. Saying, I die from the lobe, I burn myself from the lobe, actually. Right? Anyways, Rag. So if you are someone who can manage your good emotions, this is not about lust for your own household. This is about somebody who cannot keep his or her emotions in balance. Right? I think that will lead to a lot of problems, right? Isn't it? This can also work in many other ways. It's like the Suvarnahansa Jataka story. In the Suvarnahansa Jataka story, you can understand what happened. This is a good story about Loba. In this story, there is a golden swan who is coming to a certain village house every day and then leaving one golden feather. Right? He was happy to drop one golden feather. So he has been doing this for a certain time period. But the lady in the household one day was very insecure. So he was telling her husband and children, we are now totally depending on this golden swan. What if he is not to come to our household and dropping these golden feathers? I think we can't survive from that day onwards. So children and the husband asking, what are you suggesting? And he comes tomorrow, we're going to catch him. We're going to take out all his feathers. Right? Now they were planning to catch the swan tomorrow. So the golden swan came. They all caught him and take out all his golden feathers. And then what happened? That was the last day the golden swan came to the house. Sometimes when we are so much greedy about things, even we are losing the minimal version of that happiness. Okay? So this is a very good story about Loba. But you see Loba and then Raga, they are two different things. But what we need to understand is that, let's say you don't know about the Buddha, then you are really struggling about your fear. Then at least think about someone who has less Raga in his or her life. That can help you. Raga. Then Avita Dosa. As you can see, Avita Dosa. Dosa means doso. Now what is Avita? Avita means, as you can see in the translation, free. Not free. Not free from Raga. Not free from dosa. Not free from. Doso means doso. Dosa is a very broad range
Hatred.
Pali word. It's a very broad range word. So we have to find out what does it exactly mean. It talks about a minor frustration and a rage, maybe a wrath, a very high level of vengeance, revenge, that kind of emotion. So it ranges from a minor frustration, minor annoyance, minor indignation, and then to that kind of a full bloom revenge, or that kind of ill will, or maybe even something like that. So now, if someone has less dosa, that could be a good person to think about. Right? Now, actually, when we are getting scared, who is coming to our mind in the first place? Tell me. Let's say you are really scared. Forget about the Buddha. who is really coming to your mind? You are not trying to think about that person. Naturally, whose name will come to your mind? Someone who can really save you. Yes. You might say I'm with somebody, but someone who you think who can help me really in your own mindset will come to you at that point. That means this methodology. Someone who has less raga dosa automatically come to our mind. I'm not talking about someone like supreme like the Buddha, even our beloved ones. Right?
Yeah, husband.
Very good. Yes. Yeah, someone who can really save us, that we understand that person has less fears than me. That person has less this kind of things compared to me. Right? Automatically will come to us. So doso, we'll discuss about doso a little bit more. Minor frustration, minor annoyance, minor irritation. Can you think about yourself? Are you someone who is really irritated, even for a small thing in your household, starting from the morning?
Sometimes.
You are waking up, and then you are getting up, and then now what's going to happen after that? And you expect a certain situation to happen in your household. Then what happens? It is not happening. Yam pichang nalabati tampi dukkha. Things don't happen the way we want, then dukkha is going to arise. Because we have a craving for the perfectionism once again, and then dukkha is going to arise. But you understand, no, things can work not in the way I expect. I am going to embrace that. No, dukkha is going to arise. Sometimes can work, sometimes might not work. I'm happy to accept that. So, less dukkha. But there are more opportunities in our life to have frustration, even for a very good meditator, even for someone who has understood a lot of Dhamma. Right? Now, yesterday we were discussing about people who talk a lot of Dhamma, but there's no practice within their life. Right? So, in the same way, we can know a lot of Dhammas, but the knowledge has not become an understanding in their life. And that understanding has not gone to their heart. Right? So that means we have to be vigilant about those experiences. Right? Can we minimize our irritations in our household, in your household? Can you? Or you want to always beat the person who is become the troublemaker in the household? You are the problem maker. You are the this and that. Because of you, I have to struggle a lot in my house or in my life. Are we going to do that kind of a thing, or are we looking at things differently? How can we practice Buddhism in that experience? Any thoughts?
Bhante, can we be more patient, more kind, gentle?
But a lot of people say, I have patience, but it ran out already because of this particular person. They are always trying to make excuses. No, I'm trying to say, yes, patient is what we are trying to make. But we can't be patient without understanding what's happening, isn't it? How to be patient without understanding what's happening? It is very difficult for us to be patient when we don't know what's happening. Right? Then we have to look away and then let the things happen. Right? How to be active in the household and then not to be impatient in that point. So we can minimize a lot of frustrations if we can give a low priority to our own sanya, as memories. Every time we are trying to pick on someone in the household or somewhere else in your life because you have bad experiences with those people before. This is the issue. So whenever your internal chatter is giving a lot of indications, you have to go back. You have to suspect this person, right? We are carefully understanding those inner chatter's activities, right? Because the inner chatter is flowing all the time. So with that proper management of our sanya, we can minimize those occasions of unnecessary dosa. Dosa is such a very, what you call, challenging state of mind, but we can do certain things in order to understand our own dosa, right? Then moha, avita moha. What is moha? Now I would like to bring you another Pali word, avijja, moha and avijja.
Avijja is ignorance, moha is delusion.
Yes. So how do we understand that in the layman's language? Avijja is ignorance, yes, and delusion is moha. Now we normally call the ignorance that we are having in one lifetime is moha. Ignorance, the full-fledged ignorance is avijja. Now, how do we know that we are really deluded in our life? The moment we are losing our samma ditti. The moment we lose samma ditti is the moment that we are into delusion. Right? I think you already learned about samma ditti. There are 10 things about samma ditti. Believing in the dana and in taking care of mother, father, motivating yourself to do good karma, right? There are 10 things. So whenever your attitude is going out of these 10, you are mostly coming out to more at that point. Lobha, raga, lobha, they are perpetual. Those is definitely perpetual. So the idea here is that when Sakka has raga, dosa, moha, since he is not free from raga, he is not free from dosa, he is not free from moha, then he cannot really help you. Because when something really getting serious, he even runs away from the battlefield. Right? So then you can't depend on by looking at the top of his standard. Then the Buddha is saying, I'm teaching you a very good methodology to de-escalate your fear, to reduce your fear. And I guarantee that the method that I'm teaching you really work for you in the battlefield. Now, this is interesting. Did the Buddha appreciate war? Why did he not talk about, hey, stop war? Why are you in war with Asuras? He never talked about it. In Buddhism, we understand that war is not a good thing. We can discuss things. But when it comes to the war between Asura and Sura, he did not prevent it. He simply said what he was asked to say. The Devas were asking what to do at this point. Okay, now we are going to these Pali words, the problematic emotions that Devas were having in the book. What are they? Bhayam, Chambitattam, Lomahansu. Bhayam. Let's talk about Bhaya. Bhaya means fear. Fear. Who is not feared in his or her life? Now, some people might say that we are not feared at anything. Those gangsters, they might say we are not feared about anybody. We are ready to die. Even some soldiers. But here we are talking about who has the least, who has no fear spiritually. They are the enlightened ones. We call them Punya Papa Pahinassa Nakti Jaga Ratubaya. Arahants and individuals beyond that onwards, they don't have fear. Let's talk about our own fears. Most of our fears are irrational or rational? Do they have a real base or not? The fears that we are going through. in our everyday life?
Sometimes irrational, Bhante.
Sometimes irrational.
Yeah.
Can we talk
Sometimes-
about one fear that many people are having? One interesting fear. Fear of being sick. This is an interesting fear. Fear of being sick. So as Buddhists, are we supposed to be feared at our own sicknesses? What did the Buddha ask us to do? Did the Buddha ask us to just to become sick because it is anicca dukkha anatta, then go find a good treatment in a hospital? Is this the way that the Buddha asked us to do? Or did the Buddha ask us to do something like, you have to take care of yourself, self-care is more important, and take care of others, practice healthy lifestyle habits, especially eating. He said in number of suttas, don't eat too much, don't eat too less, eat in moderation. When you eat in moderation, your aging will be slowed down. This is $1 million idea in today's nutritional sciences. They talk about it. They're not worried about what you're going to eat. Saying, eat less. Eat less. Not even that. The Buddha says, when people eat less, they will slow down their aging. In other words, aging is not a death sentence. But if you look at Buddhism from a aging point of view, they think, I'm getting old, I have pain here, there, this is suffering, right? But Buddha never said this. Yes, Buddha asked us to look at our life, but he didn't say, get sick and then experience anicca dukkha. That is a wrong understanding. So then fear of being sick has to be understood in a proper way. We are not supposed to be feared. We will be feared if we don't practice what the Buddha asks us to do. This is one very interesting fear. Any other fear that we may have, you may have, in terms of life?
Fear of losing the loved one.
Fear of?
Losing the loved one.
Fear of separation.
Yes.
Separation, yes. Okay.
Yep.
That's an interesting fear too. And then any other fears?
Of hunger. The hunger.
Hunger, fear of starving. Oh, fear for starving. Starvation. Okay. Hunger. Right. Interesting. Fear of pain. Yeah, I think all these are pains. Yes.
Some
of
people
body.
fear of death. Fear of
Fear
death.
of death. Yes.
Yeah.
And then what else?
For women, Bhante,
Fear of?
Bhante, for women, a fear of being harassed by someone and you have no protection of yourself.
Fear of harassment, maybe fear from bullies, bullies, maybe harassment, yeah.
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection, very interesting fear, right? Because we are asked not to lose anything in our life, isn't it? Since day one in our life, our parents told us, never lose anything. And in today's world, especially the teenagers, young people, they are not able to take rejection. You see more suicides, more problems. So as parents, even grandparents, we have to teach them power of rejection. The power of rejection. We will have to be rejected. People will say no to us. We will not get the scholarship that we want. We will not get into the right school sometimes, but we will end up in a better school. Right? So rejection is very important. Buddha said that. Buddha never said rejection happens, so life is dukkha. Right? Yes, rejection is something that we have to go through. So all these fears, if you look at them closely, there is something you can do. in Buddhism. You don't have to be feared for them. When you don't know what to do with all these tiny little fears, then you are in problems. So now here definitely it refers to the fear in the war, because Devas were scared of being hurt by Asuras, because Asuras are more powerful. All right, and then we are going to, someone's in fear of going into a bad realm. Yeah, so sometimes when you know a lot of things about the next life, you are very scared whether you can achieve them, isn't it? When you know a lot of things, what can happen to me, like what is happening in other worlds, then you are so much uncertain about what will happen to you, right? So you have to be very careful. Some spiritual traditions are accused by others, saying that you are spiritual, you are making spiritual crimes and telling people, you're going to be like this. If you're not, otherwise you've been struggling, right? So what the Buddha is asking is that take care of this life. Next life will be taken care automatically. Don't worry about next life, right? Otherwise, people do all the good karmas for next life. If you ask from these dana people, 99 out of 100, they say, because I have to do this next life, I have no merits, This is the answer. They are not giving dana to purify their lobha, dosa, moha in this life to be a better person. Oh, I think I don't have enough merits for next life. I don't wanna become a hungry ghost. So these are really misunderstandings. Probably this misunderstanding has been given by some people. So we have to understand this. We are not doing dana or whatever for the next life. Do we know next life? Anybody knows what will happen to you in the next life? That is out of our understanding. But we know we will be reborn. If we are going to be reborn, what we should be doing is that become a better person in this life. Everything else will be taken care by that greatness, kusala karmas. Okay, so Bhaya can be overcome, definitely, if you think about the right person. And then, next one is Chambitatta. Chambitatta means terrified. Sometimes some incidents can make us terrified. Now, there's an English word called terrorist, right? Terrorist. Now, the English word terrorist means that those people who are going to explode bombs, they are already terrified, and because they are terrified, they are exploding bombs. Right? They are not coming in public. They are coming slowly in public, and then they are blasting the bombs, and then they are killing other people. So they are already terrified. They are already feared, whether they can do the mission or not. So the Buddha says sometimes these activities of the Asuras can make you terrified. They can outsmart you in battle. Yes, I do understand that. It can happen in our life too. Can we be terrified in our good actions as well? When we are doing good actions? Long time ago, when I was doing a discussion, someone was talking to me one day. I had a question, but I could not ask the question. I asked why. Because I feel my question seemed a little bit not to the standard of the one who asked before me. I said, what? There are no standards for the question. You have to ask the question. And we will discuss that. So, terrified by the former question, right? You don't have to be terrified. You have to understand what it is and then to work on it. The last one is Loma Hansu. Loma means, what does Loma mean? L-O-M-A, Loma. Loma means body hair. Body hair. Loma. Hanso means horripilation. Sometimes we become very scared about what's happening, right? I think we use a couple English words, butterflies, goosebumps, really panic, right? These things also can happen. So then the Buddha said, this is normal fear, terror, and horripilation. Any fear, any terror, any horripilation will not be gone away till you think about somebody who has overcome raga, dosa, moha. Right? That is the problem here. So what we need to understand today is that whenever you are scared about anything, better you are supposed to think about someone who has overcome raga, dosa, moha. Now that is why before we start off a Dhamma talk, before any Sangha member is going to start off a Buddha Puja, Bodhi Puja, what are they saying? Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. The moment that we are saluting the Buddha, our any remaining raga, dosa, moha should be, what do you call, reduce. Maybe we are just before the Buddha Puja, Bodhi Puja, Dhamma talk, we may be immersed in raga, dosa, moha in our own ways. But the moment we are saluting the Buddha 3 times, our raga, dosa, moha will be reduced to a certain extent. So then we can focus more on the particular activity. So that means whenever you are scared, better to think about the Buddha, if not in Dhamma, if not in Sangha. That is the way how the Buddha is asking Devas to think about in the Dhajagga Sutta. Another very interesting thing is that when the Devas are going to attack the Asura, they are thinking about a spiritual person. Now Devas are not just being in the war, right? That means, what do you think about this idea? I mean, somebody is doing something, like let's say Devas are trying to mitigate the power of Asura in the battlefield. While they are attacking Asuras, they are going to think about Buddha's qualities. How fair is that? Right? Buddha never said that you should stop the war between Asura and Sura. But he simply said, your fear, terror, horripilation will go down if you think about my qualities, if not Dhamma's qualities, if not then Sangha's qualities. So that's what we can understand today. Now we can take time for any questions you may have. Any questions about today, or basically the whole idea of today? Yes, Shelley, you have a question?
Bhante, why the sutta here mentioned raga, dosa, and moha instead of lobha, dosa, and moha?
Yeah, interesting. Lobha, dosa, moha, they are taken in a different framework. When it comes to understanding someone who is better to be contemplated on in times of fear, terror, horripilation, the list takes the form of raga. Someone who has a lot of high sexual desires, a lot of lust, is never going to be a good person to be thought upon any fear for other people. Because we all have lobha in a certain way until we attain Nibbana. But raga is a choice for the most part. We have raga, but the elevation of raga is what the Buddha mainly focuses on. Someone who should be used to think about in times of fear. How do I put into layman's language? Let's say I'm getting scared now for something. Very simple example. I'm going to think about who is in my family circles, my friend circle, who has less lobha, so I can think about it. Or I'm going to think about who is out there in my family, relatives, friend circle, who has less lust. What can really give me a better feeling about my state of mind at that point? It's someone who has less raga. Although they are synonymous, when we are going to choose someone to be thought of in terms of fear situation, raga is the way that we are taking. Raga will be taken instead of lobha. That is more workable actually. Yeah. Because lobha, less lobha, thinking about someone who, even to think about someone's degree of lobha is a different way of looking at it. But if you look at someone who has less raga, that can really touch us immediately. Think about that person who has less raga, less lust. That can really, make us tranquil, peaceful, outrightly. Other questions? So next time, whenever you get scared, think about someone who has less raga, less dosa, less definitely Buddha, who has no as such. But if you are looking for someone in your family house, places, think about someone who has less such things. Actually, we have those people in our household, in our family circles, friend circle, who has less raga, compared to other people.
But better to take the triple gem and Bhante.
Yeah. That is what we are asked to
Yeah.
think about. But
Yeah.
sometimes, some people are, choosing between, naturally. It's not that they want; it's coming up naturally. At that point, they can think about. I think that automatically someone in that category will come up who has less, such things. Mother, yes. This is an interesting. Remember one very nice story. I think this was where I found it actually. One mother was telling her son, "You should not go out today. If you go out today, you will meet a buffalo, and the buffalo is going to attack." So the son was a little mischievous. Said, "Okay, I'm going to go out," and he went. He left the house. Somewhere on the road, he actually met a buffalo. Now he cannot get out of the way. He has to pass the buffalo. Then what he thought about? May what my mom had truly in her heart happen now, not what he said. She said, because no mother is wishing son is going to meet a really bad incident. So she just needed to scare the son. And then buffalo went away. He also left. So yeah, mother is a good example. Yes. Right? Other questions about today and maybe last week too?
Bhante, as we know, Saka is Sotapanna. When he goes to war, does he do the Panatipata or this with the Asura? Is it broken the precept?
We don't know at which point Sakka went to the war. Maybe the stage of Sotapanna could be a later time thing that happened to him, probably, when he started getting to know the Buddha and all that. Probably. This is one hypothesis that I have. On the other hand, there are different stories how the Sotapanna is going to look at his or her own discipline. It is said that no Sotapanna is going to commit 6 heinous activities: killing mother, killing father, killing Arahants, Buddhita Buddha, making Sangha members in disagreement, and then finally, what you call following a teacher who cannot teach the way out of the dukkha. Right? So, Sotapanna is not going to make any of these heinous activities. He is immune. But it does not say about the rest of the. But normally we understand Sotapanna is not even killing an ant. So my understanding is that I think this woe and everything happened before he formally got to know the Buddha. That is what we can understand. Yeah. Right? Yes, Barbara, please go ahead. Yeah.
Bhante,
I think,
just
yeah.
a question about Loba, Mosa, and Raga, and the difference is the Loba, Mosa, and Dukkha. I mean, hatred. So, why don't they put together Loba, great hatred and delusion, and greed, add in the hatred? Why the 2 separate sentences to apply under what circumstances are they applied?
I think I didn't hear some part of your question. Why did? Yeah, can you rephrase the question?
Okay. Because normally we say greed, hatred, and delusion as one, hatred and lust. So, can this be joined together, the lust and the hatred all joined together to make a foursome accounting? And under what circumstances are they used? Greed, hatred, and delusion, and greed, hatred, and lust.
Yeah, I think you are breaking up. The important part is being broken up, actually. Are you asking why it is? I think the same question which Suman asked. Is it? Is it the same question or a little different from that?
Yeah. I just don't understand. It's
Yeah,
the same, but reply I didn't understand. The 2 circumstances will be different. Is it to apply 2 different sets of
okay, I think you are asking why we normally see Loba Dosa Moha. Why here it is taking Raga Dosa Moha. Actually, Raga is a part of Loba.
Yes.
Yeah, Raga is a part of Loba. Loba is the main akusala state of mind. Now, say for instance, someone has a high sexual drive. For what? Where is it arising from? It is arising from a certain greed for that another particular person. But now here, when you take out the Raga part of the Loba, you are particularly saying that this particular lust. Why Raga dosamo? Why there is Raga? Why there is not Loba? Because when it comes to think about a situation where someone is going through fear, terror, horripilation, then the Buddha is asking us to think about who could be a better person to think about in terms of overcoming that fear and all that. Then it is better to take Raga part of the Loba instead of the whole Loba part. In that understanding, when you look at Raga part of someone, then we are easily going to dismantle that fear, disconnect the fear, rather than we taking it from the Loba. Loba is a very big akusala activity where there is abhijja, visamalobha, tanha also a part of Loba. Tanha, upadana, they all are part of Loba. So we are only taking the Raga part because that is what is important to understand who could be a good person to think about when I am going through my own fear, terror, or appellation. Makes sense? That's why there is raga in this set, but normally lobha dosa. So raga is within the low. All right, so we can take one more question if you have. Otherwise, we're going to transfer the good karmas. All right, no questions. That means you already understood what we discussed, isn't it? From next Friday, what we're going to do is that, you know, that we are going to this part. See, okay, from here, you can see the Buddha is initially asking to think about him. And then this is the Dhamma part, this is the Sangha part. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to discuss with you the different qualities of the triple gem, starting from the Buddha. I think that is a very good thing because you are chanting Itipiso Bhagavarahan Samma Sambuddho multiple times every day. Probably you may have not understood what these individual qualities mean. So that means we will be reading the whole thing, but then we are picking up probably certain qualities, maybe 1 to 2 qualities, and then we will discuss about it. Then whenever you are going to chant, read Itipiso statement, then you are going to think about the real meaning of the Buddha's great quality, Dhamma's great quality, and Sangha's great quality. This is what we are going to do. All right, so let's transfer all the good karmas. May all the good karmas which we'll be making today, by learning about why Asuras could not overcome their fear, terror, or appellation. And what did the Buddha say? The reason was all these devas, they have lobha dosa, raga dosa, moha. And the Buddha asked them to think about someone who has no raga, no dosa, no. May all the good karmas which we've been making by understanding this be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyateyu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyateyu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyateyu. At the same time, may Deva, Naga, Mahindika also share all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. In particular, may they bless our Dhammacharyas all time. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavatacha ammehi sambadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ettavatacha ammehi sambadang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ettavatacha ammehi sambadang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu Sabbasang patti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummatta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tuluka sasanang. Akasattha ca bhummatta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tudesanang. Akasattha ca bhummatta Deva Naga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tumang Paranti Chirang Rakhang Tumang Sadanti. Also, we are usually making a noble wish. May all May we be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanimbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been making throughout our sutta discussion today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisa nichang vandha pacha ino chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchato sadhu sadhu. That's the end of our sutta discussion for today, and wishing you a good night. We'll be seeing you next Friday.
Good night,
Good night,
Bhante. Sadhu.
Good night, Bhante. Thank you very much.
Bye, Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Hey, good night.
Bhante.
Thank
Good
you.
night. See you all next week, brother and sister. Good night.
Yes.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.